Hello student, all is well. Welcome again in social science class. Today we will discuss part 2 of why do we need a parliament. So let's start with the important topics or important points which we are going to be discussed in this part. First we will discuss on Rajya Sabha, the qualification for the members of Rajya Sabha, election procedure of Rajya Sabha, the term and presiding officers of Rajya Sabha, the president and the powers of the presidents, and the functions of the parliament. But before the discussion of functions of the parliament, we will discuss who are the people in the parliament, and after that we will discuss the functions of the parliament. Rajya Sabha. Rajya Sabha is also called upper house of the parliament or council of the states. The maximum number of members of Rajya Sabha can be 250. So 250 can be the maximum number of the Rajya Sabha. Out of this 250, 238 are representative of state and union territories. 238 are representative of state and union territories, and 12 are nominated by the President of India. The nominated members are well known in the fields of literature, science, art, media and social services. So they are the well known persons. At present, Rajya Sabha has 245 seats. Out of these, 233 members represent the states and union territories. So how many seats are in the Rajya Sabha at present? 245. And out of these, 233 members are represent the state and union territories, and 12 are nominated by the president. Now, qualifications for its members. So, the person must be a citizen of India. This is the first qualification to become a member of Rajya Sabha. The person must be a citizen of India. He or she should not be less than 30 years of age. What is the age limit? 30 years of age. He or she should not be a salaried government employed. He or she should not be a government employee. He or she should not be a bankrupt or mentally unsound. And last, his and or her name should be in the voter list of the state from which he or she is seeking elections. So these all are the qualifications for the members of the Rajya Sabha. Next, we will discuss the election procedure of Rajya Sabha. So, election to the Rajya Sabha are indirect. It is having indirect procedure. The member of Rajya Sabha are elected by the member of legislature, assembly of the state and union territories. Who are the members of Rajya Sabha? How they are electing? By the members of legislative assembly of the states and union territories by using single transferable votes through the open ballot. So what is single transferable vote? In the single transferable vote, voters are cast in multi-members constituencies and ordered to preference for all the candidates can be expressed on the ballot papers. The top two candidates will be elected by a single transfer vote system. So single transferable vote means electors can be vote for any numbers of candidate in order of their preference. A candidate requires a specified number of first preference vote to wins. So this is what about the single transferable vote. The representative of the union territories where there are no assembly are elected by special electoral provisions. While the president can nominate 12 members for their contributions to art, literature, science and social services. So students, these all were about the election procedure of Rajya Sabha. Now next we will discuss the term and presiding officers of the Rajya Sabha. The Rajya Sabha is a permanent body. It cannot be dissolved. It cannot be dissolved like Lok Sabha. A bill has to be passed in the Rajya Sabha so that it can become a law. Hence, it plays a great role in alerting and reviving the laws that the Lok Sabha passes. 1/3 of its members retire after every 2 years. Every member has a 6-year term. The members of Rajya Sabha also elect deputy chairman from among themselves. The Vice President of India preside, or the Vice President is in charge of the Rajya Sabha. The members of Rajya Sabha elect a deputy chairman from themselves. That is Vice President. The Vice President of the India is the ex officio chairman of the Rajya Sabha. The Vice President is elected by the members of both the houses of Parliament for a term of 5 years. The Vice President of India preside over a Rajya Sabha, act as a chairperson of the Rajya Sabha. So the Vice President act as a chairperson of the Rajya Sabha. In current, Venkaiah Naidu is the chairperson of the Rajya Sabha. Now, the President. The President is the head of the state, elected by an electoral college, a body of people, members of both the houses of the Parliament and the Legislative Assembly of the state and union territories. The President is elected for a term of 5 years and he is eligible for re-election also. To be elected president, a candidate must have qualification required to stand for the Lok Sabha elections in addition to being above 35 years of age. His removal from office is to be in accordance with the procedure prescribed in Article 61 of the Constitution. So a president can be also removable, means the president may also be removed before the expiry of the term through impeachment. Impeachment means to charge someone with doing something wrong. So the president may be also removed before the expiry of the term for violating the Constitution of India by the Parliament of India. Now we will discuss the president's power. Presidential powers. As we know that president play a very pivotal role and perform various functions using the power given to him. So here are some powers which we are going to be discussed. So the first power is executive powers. According to the executive powers, the president must be exercised in accordance with the constitution. The president appoints the prime minister and the other ministers like council of ministers, the governors of the state, the judges of the Supreme Court and High Courts, and the various officials such as ambassador and the High Commission to the other countries. Now next is legislative powers. According to the legislative powers, the president can summon or end a session of the parliament and dissolve the Lok Sabha. He or she can nominate 12 members of to Rajya Sabha with extraordinary works in the fields of art, literature, sports, media and social service. And according to the legislature powers of president, a bill that is passed by both house of the parliament can become a law only when the president of India gives his assent to it. Or in other words, bill cannot become a law without the president's signature. So this is the most important power of the president. Next, financial power. Under the financial power, a money bill can be introduced in the parliament only with the president's recommendation. With the president's recommendations only, it can be passed. Next is military powers. The president is the commander in chief of the Indian Armed Force. The President can appoint the Chief of Army, Navy and Air Force. The President can declare war and conclude peace subject to the Parliament approvals. And the next is judicial power. So, according to the judicial power, the President appoints Chief Justice of the Union Judiciary and the other judges on the advice of the Chief Justice. The President is also the last court of the appeal. Means a person sentenced to imprisonment or death by the court can appeal to the President for mercy. The President may then reduce the sentence or grant pardon even in the case of the death sentence. So this was the judicial power. And the last we will discuss emergency powers. Emergency powers. The President may proclaim a state of emergency in whole or part of India if he or she feels that a situation has arisen in which the security of the country might be threatened. The types of emergency that can be declared by the Indian President are state emergency, national emergency and financial emergency. According to state, what is state emergency? It is declared when there is failure of constitutional machinery in a state. So what is state emergency? When it is declared there is failure of constitutional machinery in state. And the national emergency, it can be declared at the time of war. At the time of war, national emergency declared armed rebellion or external aggression including in the national emergency. And the financial emergency, it can be declared when it can be declared if the financial stability of the country is threatened. So these all were about the presidential powers. Let's recall once again: executive powers, legislative powers, financial power, military powers, judicial powers, and last we have discussed emergency powers. So these all are the some important powers of the Indian presidents. Students, now we will discuss functions of the parliament. But before that we will discuss or we will understand who are the people in the parliament and to whom they are representing. People from different backgrounds get elected as MPs in the parliament. The parliament has more and more people from diverse backgrounds. For example, there are more rural members as also members from many regional parties. People from backward caste and the minorities etc. also has increased in the parliament. People and groups who are unrepresented earlier now have found a seat in the parliament. It is crucial to ensure that those communities which are historically marginalized get adequate representation. Means their representation should be sufficient or ample. Keeping these things in the mind, our lawmakers have reserved a few seats for those belonging to SCs and STs categories, so that the candidate getting selected from this region get familiar with the problems that their people face or suffer, so they can represent the interest of the Adivasi, backward caste people or marginalized people in the parliament. Student, recently it was suggested that a few seats in the parliament should be reserved for the women. The lawmakers are still debating on this issue. Although women constitute half of the population, only 9% of MPs are women. 60 years ago, this percentage was only 4. The parliament in democratic country can function well only when all the section of the people are represented equally in it, whether they are from any caste, any religion and gender, maybe male or female. Why? Because equality is our fundamental right and all Indians are equal. So students, it was about the who are the people in the parliament. In the next part or in the next video, I will explain the functions of the parliament. So thanks for watching my video. Take care. Have a nice day.